Even in 1968, the Fox logo took 15 goddamn seconds, proving this logo is a long-standing Hollywood tradition of bullying audiences.
And that completes my final report until we reach touchdown.
Narration.
I've tucked my crew in for the long sleep, and I'll be joining them soon.
Heaven's Gate. Why did NASA make this spacecraft soundproof? Apparently, even in 1968, it was an acceptable future for astronauts to be smoking a goddamn cigar in the shuttle. Apparently, even in 1968, it was an acceptable future for astronauts to place their cigar right next to flammable wall material. Okay, wait, this guy woke up from cryo sleep, left a voice message for Earth, mentioning the people who sent him on this mission are all surely dead, suggesting he's been in cryo sleep a while. Mulls around a moment, then puts himself back into cryo sleep? Do I have that right? I guess NASA didn't give this movie permission to use their name, so the filmmakers took this newfound creative liberty to switch 2 letters. Nearly 2 minutes of opening credits that do nothing for nobody. Thankfully, these cryosleep pods open when the ship encounters a problem, something 2016's passengers couldn't even get right.
Stuart.
That is one of the weirdest cuts in all of the history of film editing. 1960s uncensored zoom. 1960s horror movie screeching. The only reason this hibernation chamber is cracked and the others aren't is because it was that motherfucker Chris Pratt, wasn't it? Also, the late 60s, when the only major female human character is casually killed before even having a line. In fact, they didn't even need to hire an actress for this role. They just used a prop. Goddamn, other than the 2 weird minutes of opening exposition, this movie's opening 25 minutes are actually fantastic. Disorienting without explaining too much. Long takes with little to no dialogue. This movie is way better than you remember it being, is what I'm saying. 2 sins off.
The air's okay!
Thank God! I mean, it's Earth, but you don't know that. So in your eyes, this is lucky as shit. You just crash-landed on a planet with air you can breathe.
She's sinking.
15 seconds of this guy giving play-by-play about the inevitable ship sinking.
You didn't have time to read the tapes.
This will be a convenient out for the movie so that these astronauts won't suspect they're on Earth, but somehow didn't have time to check the basic information. I guess ANSA really is a discount NASA.
We've got food and water enough for 3 days.
Your emergency bailout of your spaceship metallic backpacks have 3 days of rations? That's it? Dude, why even bother packing emergency ration packs then?
Apart from that, you look pretty chipper for a man who's 2,031 years old.
This dick waited until now to tell these guys the year. Like that whole raft ride over here, he said, "Man, I can't wait to spring this fact on these assholes. Let them wonder." That's my motto.
It's a fact, Landon.
Like the fake background behind me right now.
Well, if there's no life here, we've got just 72 hours to find it.
What did you just say? No, seriously, let's spell it out again for posterity.
If there's no life here, we've got just 72 hours to find it.
Notice this flag. God help you if you don't. Hey guys, so like I was saying, this looks like the Western United States, right? Doesn't it look like the Western United States? Surely they would have known what planet they were going to with a sun that looks suspiciously like ours, even if they didn't know the exact location, and even if they didn't have time to check the tapes. As much as I love this movie and its first 20 minutes, it's maybe the most Grand Canyon porn film ever made, right? Outside of those 3 connected Brady Bunch episodes, at least. This boulder, realizing the movie needed some action, decided to start falling at this very moment to give the astronauts something to do, other than imitate the Lord of the Rings the whole movie.
Cloud-covered night. That strange luminosity. Yet there's no moon.
How do you know? Didn't you just land? Even if we're supposed to believe they've seen nighttime here, the movie showed none of it. Everything about this planet is wonky. Better light a cigarette. Also, with precious cargo space for this important mission, they still sent cigarettes. I'm shocked they even sent up a guy addicted to cigarettes, let alone a supply to feed that addiction. Is that why there's only room for 3 days of rations? They stopped here to smoke and argue, and they somehow all completely avoided the shade of the rock they stopped behind. Seriously, all these f***ers are in direct sunlight right now. Jeez, Dodge somehow got a half-mile lead during this conversation.
Life.
Let's immediately kill the first sign of life that we see. Take that shit up, yo! Movie overestimates my tolerance for watching people walking. Glad they made it, but they climbed down these rocks to get here, which is hilarious. I mean, I'd skip it too, because it's literally impossible, but love the movie's optimism. How unobservant do you have to be to not even be looking for danger? Tree!
Hell with the scarecrows.
That's easy to say when you don't realize you're the crow in this situation. Yes, I know you hear water, but you're on an alien planet, at least in your mind. Be weirded out by weird shit, please. Did Jerry Goldsmith really do the score for this movie? You guys have got to be astronauts. Also, I'm kind of wondering how this scene would have played out if their female colleague had lived. I'm beginning to think that is the only reason she died, so that these dudes could skinny dip in peace. Also, just 2 naked men swimming and frolicking and wooing together just 2 days after crash landing and having their crewmate die. Totally normal right here, folks. Whoa, what's happening here? I'm not judging, I just wonder if they have time for this. Finally, and only for the sake of propelling the plot, these guys see the natives that have been following them for a long time. Also, why do they steal their clothes? Is this summer camp the planet? George is only interested in who's stealing their stuff, to the point this movie can keep a G rating and keep us from seeing Charlton Heston. Also, this movie is rated G. I know the rating system doesn't come in for a few more months, so this movie was rated afterwards, but the MPAA saw this and said, general audiences! I want that MPAA back. This shot is brought to you by your local optometrist looking to make a quick buck. The crew conveniently finds stuff to cover up their naughty bits all in one place, so this whole movie doesn't have to be blocked with rocks, trees, and comically placed bananas. So all that with the running, hiding, and stealing natives was just an elaborate hello? Where and when the hell did he get a fruit? And why is he not sharing? Now the middle guy has a fruit too, but no one tossed any fruit to these f***ers.
Well, at least they haven't tried to bite us.
You think you're 2,000 years ahead in time and on an alien planet, and you're going to make a comment like this instead of something like, holy the aliens on this planet look just like we do.
They look more or less human, but I think they're mute.
You've been watching them for 30 seconds, asshole. What a weird f***ing thing to say. I shall mate with that one over there. The first reveal of the apes being accompanied by this music? Awesome. Once and removed. Why are they cutting down all the corn? The humans are running away through the corn. Apes walking slowly and chopping down all the corn should lead to the humans escaping, though this movie will claim the opposite. This is extremely inefficient netting. It doesn't even wrap around these people by the time it's done, and in fact just looks like a minor inconvenience. Then you have these assholes who go by two-man teams to catch one person. I mean, figure out a plan, guys. You've been enslaving the human race for years, and this is some cut-rate.
I'm an animal psychologist, that's all. We have no authority.
Expositional arguing.
Come on, speak. Come on, speak.
There is no reason I can think of why, after the apes took over their planet, humans forgot how to speak. Again, at this point in the movie, we don't technically know that this is Earth, but that final reveal sure makes most of the movie's scenes seem a lot more stupid, doesn't it?
He keeps pretending he can talk.
Only because he was shot in the throat earlier does his speaking ability take a while to manifest.
You know what they say, human see, human do.
Har har, hilarious, but not really hilarious. Reversing of primate-based idiom is hilarious, but not really hilarious. George tries to grab Zira's pen and notepad in an extremely insane, animal-like way, because of course he does. But never once does Zira, who believes humans can act like the apes do, try to give the pen and notepad to him anyway, even on a whim. Because I guess pens and notepads are in scarce supply in 3978. And she probably has a ton of unfinished tic-tac-toe games written down, so wouldn't want to lose those. Also, the standard prison guard weapon here is apparently an oversized crutch. This guy was credited as super starving begging arms guy, and he was paid exactly $20 for his work, but he clearly gave it his all. Hot ape action! George writes something in the sand, and while I know that he can't talk, it's absolutely crazy he can't tap the cage or do something to get Zira's attention during this. Nova, for no other reason than the plot, starts to wipe out what George wrote in the sand. Your punishment for fighting in that cage will be to put you in another cage. That'll teach you. Thankfully for, I guess, the extras budget, this jail appears to be completely empty during this scene. How to make a female ape fall in love with you in less than 2 seconds, if you're Charlton Heston.
Fort Wayne, Indiana.
Woohoo! Shout out to Fort Wayne, where I lived for 5 years of my youth. Go you Huskies! Well, not Huskies, probably IPFW's Mastodon, which admittedly doesn't roll off the tongue as well, but does better fit the motif of the joke.
Flight is a scientific impossibility.
And yet these science-ignorant apes still somehow took over Earth at some point a century or more after humans had discovered flight. Come on, are we supposed to believe that these hyper-intelligent apes haven't figured out paper airplanes? These assholes are talking about brain surgery and shit, but even the simplest idea of flight never crossed their minds. Also, this ape society has learned the joys of ink pens and paper, which also suggests they have other modern things like a paper mill and machinery that can cut the paper, not to mention all the complexities of producing an ink pen. I know this movie needs a couple things to get the story going, but I'm not giving you latitude, movie.
That the ape evolved from a lower order primate, possibly man.
Movie just thinks it can reverse everything, even evolution. This guard comes in with a leash or some rather than the lacrosse stick thing that everybody else uses.
Yes, he has found peace in heaven.
Church. Ape nets continue to be insanely bad at their job. And all that from the last several minutes is now a meaningless distraction after he gets caught again. Thanks for that, movie. I enjoyed being teased. No, seriously. Oh wait, now he's free again. Christ, this is a long chase scene. Charlton Heston's balls cam. Thankfully, these apes have a humans museum, which he fortunately wandered into on accident. Also, even more thankfully, there are somehow now only 2 dudes chasing him. Instead of mannequins, this movie uses live extras here to pose as the 3 cavemen next to our hero, and if you rewatch their footage, they are hilariously not still. So they made a museum exhibit out of his fellow crew member. That's fine, but the speed at which they did it, considering the crash was just a few days ago, is f***ing astounding. Anything for a great visual though, I guess. This is bad aim, sure, but he's also not even aiming at George. He's clearly shooting to the left. Have apes figured out that their capturing tools are yet? They seem to all break or magically spill off with little to no effort. Because the filmmakers decided to shoot this net shot in a dramatic way, this is the one that will actually capture George.
Take your stinking paws off me, you damn dirty ape!
It looks like running around like a fool around this village gave George his voice back. Or was it because he briefly walked through that church? It's a miracle! That being said, I'm also removing 2 sins for this moment, because it's iconic, and also because Rise of the Planet of the Apes later perfectly mirrors the moment with Caesar yelling no at the primate refuge. I like how they have high-powered fire hoses in this ape future, but they don't have central heat and air. Stupid apes.
Did I tell you about Stuart? Now, there was a lovely girl. She was to be the new Eve.
You see, when 3 male astronauts love 1 female astronaut very much, a gangbang occurs that produces children which will grow up and eventually incest each other. Nova, have I taught you about inbreeding yet? Well, let me By the way, what was the point of all that bullshit a few minutes ago where they took Nova out of George's cell and put her in a different one and leave, only to come back and take George away to some sort of tribunal? I'm not prison bars in this scene. Judge Dick says the defendant's robes are stinky, and immediately he is rendered naked, with no thought given to the fact that his unwashed body might have been driving the bulk of the sting. Guy on trial is allowed to kneel, steal pen and paper, and write out a message without anyone objecting, all while the prosecutor is making his opening arguments.
Some apes, it seems, are more equal than others.
A great quote from the amazing George Apewell from his best-selling work, Human Farm. How in the is a horseshoe ever the right incision shape for any kind of surgery? With this, the apes now have 20% net success in this movie. With a little practice and a little luck, they could finally get into Rajon Rondo territory. Okay guys, let's try to make this see no evil, hear no evil, say no evil subtle. I mean, try. God damn it, try!
In a way, you did the state a service, because you made it possible for us to expose Zira and Cornelius.
Let's talk about the apes' plan. Despite the fact that it's much better for them to go ahead and kill or lobotomize George, and keep the status quo, they'd much rather stage a whole trial in order to expose 2 apes they suspect don't believe in their religion. Considering the power the council holds, it's actually amazing they couldn't just dispose of Zira and Cornelius through basic lies and general f***ry. I just noticed something, and I know it's taken me a long time to get here, but why do all the apes wear clothes? Sure, they might have had some sort of Adam and Eve shame, but they live in a f***ing desert, and they're covered in hair. Wearing jackets and pants? Someone get these apes a lemonade, pronto.
I give you just 6 hours to make a full confession.
Why 6? That's a super strange arbitrary number, yo. No matter what else happens in this movie, this ape smoking a stogie is cool as f***, and I'll even take a sin off for it.
Cornelius and I have been indicted for heresy.
Cornelius and Zira, who are being indicted on the charge of general assholery, are somehow able to walk around freely and plan prison breaks. Shaving cam.
I didn't realize that man could be monogamous.
This sounds like some sort of comment on human society, but what does it really mean in the context of this movie? Just because he brought one hot chick with him doesn't mean monogamous. It just means you guys literally paired him with the hottest woman on the planet, and she was the only one around during the prison break.
There is no contradiction between faith and science.
I probably should remove a sin for this movie mimicking real life, but let's call this a sin of honor and add one anyway.
Always giving orders, just like every other adult.
That's what this movie really needed, a whiny teen. A full minute of dialogue-free climactic beach cave exploring. This 1,000-year-old doll can somehow still make noise.
Cease fire! Withdraw! Up there!
Oh yeah, I forgot. I only use the voice that can be heard by people below me. I now need to use my above-me voice. I know Dr. Zayas told those 2 apes to withdraw, but what's really preventing them from coming back and doing a sneak attack on these sitting ducks right now?
Oh, they can't convict us of heresy? You've helped prove our innocence.
Are you f***ing kidding me? You trust this society to accept your evidence?
Don't try to follow us. I'm pretty handy with this.
But still, did you fall for the girl just because of proximity back in the cages? If she were ugly, would we still be seeing the same ending?
All my life I've awaited your coming and dreaded it. Like death itself.
That's what my ex-girlfriend told me when we had sex. About 2 minutes of build-up to a reveal that would make Rey from The Force Awakens give up. Not gonna lie, Statue of Liberty looks pretty f***ing good for 2,000 years of wear and tear. That said, I'm gonna remove 5 sins for one of the best cinematic reveals ever. I mean, what a f***ing whammy.
He will murder his brother to possess his brother's land.
We get it. Humanity sucks. And I'm not saying we don't, but most of us come to the movies to forget that depressing fact. I don't like spending the first 3+ minutes of this movie watching highlights from the final 10 minutes of the previous movie. It honestly feels very beneath the Planet of the Apes, if you ask me.
All my life I've awaited your coming and dreaded it.
Hey, that's what my college girlfriend said when we... Wait, did I make that joke at the end of the Sins video for Planet? Damn it, it's been 6 years. I knew I should have opened this video with a highlight reel.
A planet where apes evolved from men? There's got to be an answer.
There does not. And while this franchise will eventually provide some answers to your question, Taylor, those answers will vary from movie to movie and will eventually be completely ignored just before a monopolizing mouse buys a dying fox.
Damn you all to hell!
The Planet of the Apes movie franchise is barely 2 years old, and it can already be sinned for playing the hits. 3.5 minutes of credits against a backdrop of Heston and Hamilton riding in a desert, and no, not the type of riding you're hoping for, you damn dirty apes. Ted Post would direct the second Dirty Harry film, Magnum Force, 3 years after this, not to mention work on the television series Beyond Westworld. Hollywood was like, we don't want Post for the first film in a franchise, but when we need to continue the franchise and spend less money, Post is our man. James Franciscus looks so much like discount Charlton Heston, it would have made way more sense to just recast Colonel Taylor with Franciscus than having a second spaceship sent to look for Taylor and crew captained by a discount Charlton Heston. I guess Ansa really had a type.
Well, we were following Taylor's trajectory, so whatever happened to us must have happened to him.
Only because the laws of physics themselves seem hell-bent on instigating these movies instead of following any actual rules.
Where are we? I don't know what planet we're on.
That is now a grand total of 5 astronauts who refuse to even consider the fact that an Earth-like planet with an Earth-like atmosphere and an Earth-like sun might just be fucking Earth. At what point in the 70s did they stop sending the best and brightest into space?
Yeah, we're gonna be all right, Skipper. We're gonna be all right.
They will not.
If it's 3955 AD, oh my God, my wife.
Movie steals, the crew realizes they're so far in the future they've missed their spouses and children's lives emotional arc from Interstellar. Also, in the first movie, Taylor was aware that traveling through time was a possibility. So why wasn't this guy prepped? Like, why did he even agree to come on this mission if he didn't want to risk missing a few thousand birthdays?
Taylor!
Let's break down how incredibly unlikely this is. Brent and this guy get sent on a rescue mission to find Taylor, but fall into the same time travel fuckery and manage to crash land not only on the same planet, but on the same piece of fucking desert mere days or possibly hours after Taylor disappears, allowing Nova to stumble upon them. Forgive me if this does not seem likely.
Where is he?
You've already established she can't speak, and you're not even sure she understands you, so what exactly are you hoping for here, Brent, other than to scare the out of her some more?
Why don't we just settle down and found a colony, huh?
Just a reminder that this is a woman who has been unable to give consent and has likely just been latching on to the most successful caveman. A problematic situation that Taylor seems happy to take advantage of because she's beautiful. Taylor throws the full weight of his body into testing this illusion instead of trying something less risky like a rock. It's almost as if Taylor knew how little the actor playing him wanted to be in this movie. Getting behind someone on horseback without their explicit consent, or the horse's consent for that matter.
Taylor, now.
What about your supplies and rations, dude? Why are you leaving them behind when you have no idea what lies ahead? No matter how silly these movies get in the original franchise, I will never not be amazed at the awesome ape makeup work. And they did this in 1970.
My God, it's a city of apes.
Oh, so close to a roll credits, but we were looking for a Planet of the Apes, Brent. But go ahead and tell him what he's won, Johnny. I hope it's the Cuisinart. I've always wanted a Cuisinart.
The only good human is a dead human.
Har har, except not actually har har, because either the universe is willing this line into existence across thousands of years into the mouth of a different species, or this gorilla has been reading up on quotes from a 2,000-year-old racist human colonel.
Sarah, stop. You're in danger.
Cornelius is not voiced by Roddy McDowell in this installment.
It is therefore our holy duty to put our feet upon it, to enter it, to put the marks of our guns and our wheels and our flags upon it.
Movie will be loaded with metaphors and allegories covering everything from manifest destiny to the dangers of nuclear war. Unfortunately, subtlety will not be its chosen delivery method. Excitement? I love Zira, and of course she's right about everything, but how is she still alive? Or at the very least, not behind bars with all of her public displays of rebellion? And weren't Zira and Cornelius supposed to be put on trial after Dr. Zaius had the Forbidden Zone's cave blown up in the last film? Guess we're just acting like that never happened.
You're aware of the reports we've been receiving of strange manifestations in the Forbidden Zone?
If there's one thing I can guarantee, it's that this literal example of gorillas in the mist will not be summoning any strange manifestations in my Forbidden Zone. Also, I know we're anachronizing, but what would a creature who is 99% body hair get out of a sauna experience? Aren't they already in great danger of overheating?
What is more dangerous than famine, Doctor?
The unknown.
Unless the unknown is also going to starve you to death, I'm still leaning toward famine being more dangerous. You might even be able to eat the unknown. Probably tastes like chicken.
The trouble with us intellectuals is that we have responsibilities and no power.
Movie boldly contradicts the holy doctrine of Disciple Ben from the Book of Spider-Man.
I think I'll make a chocolate icing. Do you like chocolate?
We interrupt our high-concept science fiction movie for this random detour into the great apish baking show. This does not look like any kind of gunshot wound, unless his arm was grazed by a gun firing red food coloring.
You talked.
That's impossible.
You were exposed to a talking human for almost a year. I do not understand this sentence.
And get out of those things that you're wearing as soon as you can.
Considering he's in a house with multiple rooms, couldn't Brent just get out of what he's wearing right now? Zero really does make things more difficult than they need to be.
Thank us by finding Taylor.
Yeah, if he's still alive.
Or willing to take a 37% pay cut. How's the beeping, Nova? How's the beeping? Nova, Nova, Nova. Brent decides to hide his astronaut clothes by bringing them from here to over here and calling it a job well done. The guerrillas either have a ton of these nets and soldiers set up throughout this entire countryside, or got really lucky that Brent and Nova ran this way. Either way, I'm not sure what this net is achieving that the two guerrillas with guns can't achieve on their own. So basically, the movie started off with an astronaut who looks a lot like Charlton Heston, crash landing and realizing he's way in the future. Said astronaut discovers this is a planet filled with human-hunting apes. He then discovers there are a couple of apes named Zira and Cornelius willing to help him, and then is eventually captured along with a female named Nova and put in a cage with a bunch of other humans. In summary, the first 30 minutes of this movie have just been a condensed version of the previous film. Yay! These prisoners are addicted to personal space. This Gorilla Olympics scene goes on for what feels like several hours and doesn't tell us anything we didn't already know about their cruelty and disdain for humans.
This is a type E cranium.
Sure is lucky for Brent and Nova that they were transferred to this prison cell during Zira's shift. If she wasn't there, Brent and Nova become target practice and are most likely killed. But that would have also ended the movie. Damn it, Zira.
Wait, I better double lock the door.
Never mind the fact that single locking the door isn't even a thing. Just be grateful I'm here and ask no further questions. Brent is saved not by skill or sheer force of human will, but by a tree branch ex machina. Thankfully, in all of Brent's astronaut training, they took a day out to teach him how to handle a horse-drawn carriage. You never know what challenges space will present. Everybody is horseback riding. Do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do. They were fast as lightning. Also, this movie is 67% horseback riding. Beneath the Planet of the Apes was already predicting the end of payphones. And I know some of you out there are probably asking, what's a payphone? And I'm here to tell you to get off my lawn. Also, it still blows my mind that apes who speak English, horses, and human fucking beings weren't good enough clues, and that it takes a literal telephone and an entire New York subway station for him to say, oh, this is fucking Earth, isn't it? Being this aggressive with a wall. Buy a drink first, Brent. Jeez. There are certain points in the movie where all I can think about is these poor actors' feet. These guys are barefoot for the entire damn thing and just stomping on dirt, stone, and no doubt a shit ton of LSD from these 70s film sets.
My God, did we finally do it?
Can we move this realization along? We've already watched this scene with a man who looks almost identical to this man in the last movie. In fact, we've already experienced said scene in this movie.
That we, your chosen servants, created and born in your divine image.
This Simeon on the Mount scene exists mostly to justify that churches are still a thing in the future. And this scene exists mostly to justify that great Simeon on the Mount pun.
Dr. Sayers trotting along beside them.
Don't be too hard on the old boy, Zira.
Don't be too hard on him. He tried to destroy proof that would have exonerated Cornelius and Zira in the first film and wanted to put them on trial and potentially execute them. They should be hard on Zaius. Extra fucking hard. Did none of these fucking people watch the first film? They've got the apes walking in the back with flags, so why are they making this poor ape on horseback carry a flag? You might need that other hand at some point. He's riding a fucking horse. The apes have somehow invented a magic powder that creates a second skin over wounds, but somehow they're still living in huts in a mostly agricultural society. It's not impossible. I'm just saying it sucks when a movie's budget holds back the ape natural technological advancement.
Why can't we go back to our outfits?
Because the Sarge says to keep looking until we find them.
Brent pops up at the perfect time to overhear these gorillas talking, so he knows to get out of the subway. Not that it matters, because this entrance won't be found until the movie is ready for its big final battle.
That hum. You hear it too?
We all do, and it will go on for an ungodly amount of time and will be more irritating than being in a theater and trying to decipher any of the dialogue in Tenet.
Well, whoever, or whatever, something's guiding us. Whatever they are, they breathe air.
Is that surprising? Why did Brent feel the need to say that? Was he concerned they might be following fish people? No one will be seated as Brent touches the ladder and then removes his hand from the ladder.
That sound, good or bad, it's either a warning or some kind of directional device. It doesn't much matter, they know we're here.
He's assuming that because the noise stopped when he touched the ladder and started again when he let go. I would like to put forward that this is a terrible way to find out that you have visitors incoming, as it is literally the opposite of how a doorbell is supposed to work. Libraries. And yes, I know libraries are very important to a lot of people, but there's just so much reading going on there. My hands are tied. This is clearly a matte painting, but I'll give it a pass because it's the 70s. Wait, why are we still looking at it? You know, the longer you look at it, the worse it gets. This should have been a drive-by, but you decided to stay on it for almost 10 seconds. Now I have to sin it. This man is a fucking astronaut, people. What did he think was going to happen here? I wouldn't drink subway water if I found it today, let alone in the year 3955 and with this much visible pulp. I'm not sure that Nova is getting any hydration here, considering most of this stream of water is hitting her hair. Bombs that look like golden penises. This whole mind beeping instead of talking thing goes on for all of some time.
What do you mean there's no point?
And now Brent will keep answering them to give us an idea of what they are saying when they do the inner mind beeping. We will find out they can talk normally to Brent, so not sure why they don't start doing that sooner, because just listening to Brent answering questions that we're not hearing asked is more annoying than it sounds.
Your lips don't move.
You're just figuring that out now? You've been facing Julio Fuentes from Sanford & Son this whole time. All of a sudden, there's a lot of Star Trek's The Cage in my Planet of the Apes movie, and I don't like it. Was camera focus just like not a thing in the 70s? Or have these humans evolved the ability to always be a little bit blurry? Scene contains a hall of heads, but no, they might be giants. If they communicate telepathically, was the head turn and nod really needed?
Well, from this planet, but from another time.
These humans have developed the ability to communicate telepathically, so do they really need this expositional projection thing? Perhaps they've also evolved to a point where they realize there's an audience of less evolved individuals watching them who need some helpful visual prompts. Why did this guy have to walk closer to Brent to use his mind powers? Brent was hit with one of their mind zaps when he was in the other room with Nova alone. Dude should have been able to do this from where he was initially standing up top.
She helped me to break out of Ape City.
This inspires the humans to go crazy with questions, but why is this so shocking? They have Taylor in prison and he spent months or maybe even a year in Ape City. What could Brent have possibly found out in a day that they didn't already get out of Taylor?
Like the visual deterrent or the sonic deterrent.
You say deterrent, but I don't think you're using that word correctly. Working deterrents don't usually lead people straight f***ing to you. Nova runs into the arms of Brent for safety, who just tried to strangle and drown her less than 10 minutes ago.
We never harm anyone, Mr. Brent. You're going to harm her.
Who are these people? Are they related to John Kramer?
The apes are semiotic.
You're lying.
How do you know?
They can speak to you with their minds, Brent. Why are you shocked at anything when it comes to them?
Bugler, sound the advance.
Giving your enemy knowledge that you are about to attack and the direction you are attacking from.
Bid your soldiers to shoot our poor people.
I can't order them to do what the lawgiver has forbidden. Ape shall not kill ape.
Well, and what was your plan earlier with the protesters? You were happily drawing your gun on them until Zaius says,
We don't want martyrs.
I'm pretty sure one has to die before they're martyred, so where was your lawmaker then,
This is a vision, and it is a lie.
Just because Zaius ends up being correct doesn't make the fact that he figured out all this subterfuge with no proof any less bullshit.
Stupid animals. They don't have the brain to hold our illusions.
Yes, they did! Right up until the point you jumped the shark with that statue. I get the imaginary fire, I get the imaginary gorillas tied up and burning, but did you not think a bleeding statue of their most holy figure was going to raise some follow-up questions? Like, what's it doing all the way out here in the Forbidden Zone? Or who built it and why is it bleeding?
We have no defense.
Except our bomb.
Yes, you do! Do your telepathic torture powers suddenly stop working at close range? They seem to work fine on Brent. Why are they giving up so easily? Sure, prepare the bomb as a backup, but try some of these loud noises or a valley of lava or something at the same time. I am now very confused about how these guns work, considering there doesn't appear to be a hole for the bullet to come out of. Hey, they've got the Superman Fortress of Solitude crystal thingy too! I have to give props to the movie for the, no doubt, intentional symbolism of making this crucifix-inspired holy symbol look like a bomb. It aptly presents the complex layers that represent humanity's search for a higher power, contrasted to our ability to create a power great enough to destroy ourselves. But also, it totally looks like a
I reveal my inmost self unto my God.
Movie experiences some time slippage and steals the impossible face mask technology from the Mission Impossible franchise. Also, this would be a much cooler reveal if it made any damn sense. This is a lot of effort to look normal, considering that normal hasn't been normal for hundreds, if not thousands of years. Are the kids wearing masks? Why go to all this trouble if you're all mutated? Also, now I can't stop thinking about how much they look like Toby from the movie Popcorn. Guys, I no longer know what's going on.
When may we hope to be set free?
You may hope whenever you please, Mr. Brent.
Casper would be excellent at CinemaSins. This jailhouse fight scene goes on for 1 minute and 32 seconds and feels like it goes on for 30 minutes and 32 seconds. Here we see Brent scream as he is thrown into the spiky bars, and we even see the damage this did as his blood is smeared against the wall in a minute. However, in this shot, there is no blood and seemingly no injury from the bars. I doubt the legacy of 70s cinema will ever recover from this humiliating continuity error. This wall of a prison broke after Brent was thrown into it a few times, which makes this not a very good prison at all, and something I figured Taylor wouldn't have had a problem escaping from had Heston wanted to be a real part of the sequel. This dumbass stands here with the door wide open, leaving all of his resting laurels exposed. Well, now I have all the questions. Are we saying that the humans at this time aren't really mute? How is she suddenly talking? How does emotional trauma result in the sudden development of vocal cords? And yes, you can argue that the humans being mute was purely psychological from centuries of enslavement to the apes, but the movie never tells us this or gives us any real explanation for how the humans de-evolved, which means sin.
If they shoot it off at some of those apes, it could set off a chain reaction in the whole atmosphere.
Why would these two astronauts know so much about what is presumably a top-secret world-ending atomic bomb? Like, they literally just painted a bus into this scene and expected us to buy it. Why are we still looking at it? Like, how expensive would it have been to find a beat-up bus and park it on the stage? How could they possibly know when that ape moved away from the bars? It's the 3950s and women are still being treated like trauma dolls. Poor Nova has existed solely to be passed between males, all so that she can be randomly shot moments after finally finding her voice. This guy used his dying seconds to present his true image to God before he died, so why didn't Albina do the same ahead of killing herself?
This is the instrument of my God.
He can speak.
Wait, are we saying up until this point, not a single human has said a word to any of the invading apes? Because this reaction sure makes it seem like not a single solitary person screamed, "Ah, there's a f***ing gorilla with a machine gun, please, bomb lord, save me!"
That weapon is built by man. You can't shoot it down with only a clip of bullets.
What the heck are you basing that on? A moment ago, you were shocked that man could even speak. Why are you now making assertions about the strength of their manufacturing capabilities?
It'll kill us all.
Again, how do you know that? These people barely have guns, so how is Dr. Zaius recognizing this as a weapon of mass destruction as opposed to some giant phallus-like statue?
I should someone at the pillar.
Well, I'm impressed that the movie goes for a big swing by killing off Taylor. I'm less impressed that said swing lands him into this dramatic roly-poly that will eventually place him within groping distance of the red dildo of destruction. Holy shit, they just shot Brent in the face! We spent the whole movie getting invested in him, and then the movie just ends his arc like a bad dream. Well, the joke's on you, movie, because I was never invested.
Bloody bastard.
Oh man, did he just set off the nuke? That's fucking wild. I guess that's it for these apes. I assume future movies will be set on other parts of the planet.
A green and insignificant planet is now dead.
Well, goddamn. They nuked the entire planet and just ended the fucking movie. Like, that's it. No more Earth. No more Taylor. No more bus painting in the subway. Story time over, kids. Roll those credits. The sin here is that this might be a more bonkers ending than the famous Statue of Liberty reveal, but because the rest of the movie is so blah, we just never fucking talk about it.
Tim Burton, monkey symbolism. Opening eyes are really scary cliche. 3 minutes and 15 seconds of f***ing opening credits. Obvious simulator is obvious. Unexpected Mark Wahlberg.
Lose again.
Mark Wahlberg is addicted to monkeys. Jesus ship. Reading. Facility dedicated to animal research needs to warn its crew about live animals. Probably because it figures into the plot later. Monkeys are in cages and that makes me feel bad cliche. Mark Wahlberg is yet again addicted to monkeys.
When you frustrate them, they lose focus.
But caging them makes them feel warm and cozy. Movie rips off the video postcard shit from every sci-fi movie ever. Also, there's no way this many people love this guy.
I'm really enjoying that apartment.
Why would he keep his apartment down on Earth when he's on an indefinite mission in space? This is an orgy of evidence that the prop guy went to Spencer Gifts. This guy is such a badass he doesn't have to zip up his uniform cliche.
I'm getting every electronic communication from Earth, from all time.
How could you possibly know this? Also, Hitler, Iwo Jima, Bill Clinton, and Asian chef equal everything. Also, Earth is broadcasting only iconic moments. Also, Hitler, and that's racist.
Why don't you just allow me to do my job?
Why don't you allow me to do my job cliche?
He's the canary, that's the coal mine.
That's racist. I know this needs to be a monkey because it's a movie called Planet of the Apes, but why do they even need a monkey? They have all this futuristic shit and they can't send some sort of remote control pod they control from the ship? Sure, this ship can pick up frequency patterns, but it can't pick up that a pod is being used 20 feet away.
Sir, Delta Pod is launched.
Ship can detect pod only when it launches, and not any other thing it might do. Those are some useless sensors. This pod somehow knows exactly what year it is. Also, British calendar. The proximity of these celestial bodies signify the coming of an apocalypse that should happen, every day. Captain Davidson survives this crash, and that's simple as shit. We interrupt this Mark Wahlberg, Tim Burton monkey movie to bring you the Dagobah crash from Empire Strikes Back. Fire from the ship at the bottom of the lake magically leaps to the surface. Out of all the places Captain Davidson could crash land on this mostly desolate planet, he finds the one area at the exact time when fellow humans and potential friends are running away from chief antagonists. These monkeys have gotten really good at throwing kids into burlap sacks in the middle of the woods. Things! Excitement! Horses! Physics! It doesn't appear that Davidson has been punched in the nose so hard that he would have been thrown 20 feet. Rounding up humans is simply a business venture. Why do they need an entire army to get this job done? Jungle trampoline. Also, how did this monkey know from the jungle to jump exactly this far when he can't possibly see his target? Monkeys don't say anything until it's time for it to be dramatic. Tim Roth is an Andy Serkis in this scene. Also, is it bad that I know this is Tim Roth behind all that monkey makeup?
You damn dirty human!
Haha, Planet of the Apes reference. Also, Davidson's note is made out of adamantium. Hookah is an evolutionary inevitability. Why does everyone need to see you're getting groomed? Also, spinning barber pole. Irony. Basketball is an evolutionary inevitability.
These are the skankiest, scuzziest humans I've ever seen.
Paul Giamatti turned in this clip as his audition for 12 Years a Slave. These are the only two assholes who need the neck harness. Everyone else, all good.
Ladies to the right, please.
Why do they bother separating women from men when they end up in the same place? Earlier we saw Limbo buying these humans, and it sounded like he had a choice on whether or not he buys them. So, if he didn't buy them, where would all these humans go? Would they not be in the same prison anyway? Also, if the military is rounding up humans, why do they sell these humans to Limbo and then buy any of them back? If they need a human, why don't they just take what they need before selling them? Also, Limbo.
Keep your eye on this one. He's feisty.
Captain Davidson has not done anything feisty. Also, the only one who has shown feistiness is apparently not worthy of watching out for because he's not Mark Wahlberg.
One thing you don't want in your house is a human teenager.
This movie is full of this bullshit.
Oh, isn't she pretty?
Unexplained anger is unexplained.
You stink of humans.
That's a surprise.
They're not dumb. They can be taught to live with us as equals.
Okay, this movie needs to pick an issue. Either this is wrong because they view the humans as monkeys, or it's wrong because they view them as slaves. But it can't be both at once. Because if a monkey could talk like these humans do, I'm pretty sure we wouldn't bother putting them in cages and experimenting on them.
Guess what? This one seems different.
You can't tell one from the other.
This movie is full of this bullshit.
And wash your hands before dinner.
Monkeys suddenly are British. Everyone who is important to this story has been invited to the senator's dinner.
We give thanks to you, CinemaSins.
Heavy-handed religious and political overtones. Monkey dentist. Also, for someone who hates monkeys for smelling like humans, he sure likes touching humans in an intimate way. Also, the only way he could have made this dinner more heavy-handed is if Burton directed it like it was the Last Supper.
I've lost my appetite.
Pointless protest. Easiest lock to pick ever.
There's a curfew for humans.
There's a curfew for slaves?
We had to come right to you.
You did exactly the right thing.
You did exactly the right thing, and now I'm gonna kill you, cliche.
You smell that? Don't start now. We're off duty.
Off-duty ape decides that smelling humans is not worth his time right now. Scene does not contain a lap dance. Stealthy escape includes running through the senator's sex den. Handy chandelier for hilarious Frady Cat moment. Monkey hairpiece and dentures.
You're not usual.
You show me how we out here. I promise you, I'll show you something that will change your world forever.
His penis. This guy must have been standing here right by this door just in case someone knocked. Why didn't you just throw it at that asshole? We really needed magically appearing Thaye to do this job.
What do you know about my father?
Catfight.
Apes are afraid of the water.
We drown.
Apes have the same weakness as the aliens from Signs.
How long can a human hold his breath underwater?
How many f***ing times are we gonna hear some bullshit about what humans can do and what apes can do in this movie? That's half the movie. If they cut out 90% of this, we would get to the point and this movie could be an hour long. All this shit still works after being submerged in water for many hours.
We're in control now. We're the 800-pound gorilla.
Actually, this is the 800-pound pile of shit. All the adults allow Billy Elliot to do the fighting for them.
And you'll only lower yourself to his level.
You only lower yourself to his level, cliche.
Can't we all just get along?
Fuck me.
Declare martial law.
This senator can just declare martial law.
What happened to them?
God, after we cut down their forest.
Sure, just put in a dumb environmental message in your talking ape movie.
In the time before time, we were the slaves and the humans were the masters.
Apes somehow kept this shit secret for thousands of years. Buddha monkey. So they kept this gun in a piece of pottery for thousands of years? Also, guns are bad.
Damn them all to hell!
Charlton Heston didn't want to be credited on this movie. Also, NRA spokesperson speaks of the evil of guns in this movie. Also, convenient deathbed exposition is convenient.
Are you sure the apes are scared of water?
You just saw Ari scream when she saw water. Also, why are you asking Billy Elliot this question? Bad guys get distracted with infighting so the good guys can sneak up on them. Davidson shoots this at eye level and the flare shoots way up into the sky. Why go through the exact middle of this camp? Also, why would you shoot a flare and not make sure they're gonna go investigate it first before charging? 20 seconds of panting.
They were carried by horses.
Attar ran all the way back to tell Thaye this. Why couldn't he just get an underling to do this? Jumping tantrum.
I'd like to see your world.
Prod you and poke you and throw you in a cage, too.
Yeah, until she opened her mouth. Movie steals the V'ger thing from Star Trek The Motion Picture. This thing's still f***ing working. Also, this asshole ship is still sending out a beacon. Even if we accept that, this ship took a lot of damage and has been sitting here forever. How are the electrical connections not severed?
The apes we brought along have been very helpful.
They were a lot stronger and a lot smarter than we ever imagined.
So the apes evolved in like 30 years?
The apes are out of control.
But I did find time to calmly leave this message while the world burned around me.
His story is spreading through the villages.
How is his story spreading? He's been here for 2 days. The only people who know him are right here, and there's no messaging system. Also, even if his story is spreading, how did they know to come here all at once? This is a little close to just now be seeing this huge army, right? Also, shouldn't the ape army be seeing Billy Elliot right now? Slavery brand just happens to be in this tent, ready to go for any branding at a moment's notice.
Let her return.
There's no f***ing reason to let her go and not just kill her now. It's bad enough that the kid had to disobey and join this shit, but now he loses control of the horse at this crucial moment? Horse gets back on his feet with the use of a sound effect.
Jesus!
No, CMOS. Tremendous explosion only stuns the apes. Wilhelm clan managed to make it on the Oberon thousands of years ago to keep the tradition alive. Old friends who turned into enemies find each other on the battlefield cliché. Real adversaries drop all their weapons before a final fight. What are you waiting for? Also, I'm gonna shoot you face.
We will leave the graves unmarked. No one who comes here will be able to tell apes from humans.
Racist society turns it around in 10 seconds.
About a human who came from the stars, changed our world.
Overnight. Ew. Ew. Ape Lincoln. Maybe the second movie will explain how General Thade got here before Davidson and changed the Earth forever before he got back. 44 seconds of logos. Birds fly away to signify danger cliché. Also, chimps are terrible about knowing when humans are in their jungle.
You only get one shot. One shot is all I need.
You only get one shot is all I need cliché. Monkey decides to freak out and break loose at the exact same moment James Franco is pitching the sensitive money people on funding his monkey drug.
We're ready to move on to the next phase, human trials.
Yep, medicine companies definitely go from one successful monkey trial directly to human trials. This is totally legit. These guys should have way more training, expertise, and common sense than to do this shit. These are discount actual monkey scientists. Guards full-on murder the ape with people in the room. They don't have tranquilizers? Also, security guard shoots potentially dangerous monkey instead of sleeping. Or sleeping.
Know everything about the human brain except the way it works.
Oh, stuff it. He knows tons about how the human brain works. You're just looking for a lazy zinger. Oh, come on. They get a bunch of wild apes, conduct millions of tests, are there with them every day for hours and hours, and they didn't know Bright Eyes was pregnant. Also, this might be something that would be difficult to spin with investors, but seems like if you've got a drug that can make billions of dollars, admitting that you didn't know the ape was pregnant and that was the reason she went crazy would turn it around. In time. Certificate of appreciation. Monkey conveniently bonds to human just as human is about to kill monkey.
Right away, Caesar displayed...
Whoa there. He's just gonna start narrating like we haven't sat through 14 minutes of movie already? Also, 3 years later? He kept a monkey hidden in a residential neighborhood for 3 fucking years? And no one ever looks at their neighbor's windows. Ever.
And plays chess pretty well.
Will carries around a chess piece so that he can reflect dramatically on this point while recording his notes. Scientist running out of time and patience with his father's disease tests his theories on his own flesh and blood. Stealing is only wrong when you're not motivated by Alzheimer's. So wait, the lab isn't getting funding to produce this drug anymore because of the Bright Eyes incident, but still produce large quantities of it anyway? He steals these vials, but the lab never does inventory or anything because no one ever notices they're missing. Hey, didn't the nurse quit after the last outburst? Who was watching Daddy Rodman all day while his son was at work stealing medicine? The chimp? Open window causes no concern for Will, even though there's a wandering chimp in the house. Also, no surprise, open window allows Caesar to escape during crucial part of the plot. Also, monkey only notices open escape window after ignoring it all night long. Guess it wasn't time to escape yet.
Caesar! He can't have gone far.
How the f*** do you know he can't have gone far, Piano Man?
Won't happen again.
Damn right it won't.
Carbon copy asshole neighbor is carbon copy. Also, sweatbands.
He likes you.
Frida Pinto is not my girlfriend, wife, and mistress in this. Oh, just match my online dating profile to her already. Andy Serkis isn't winning an Oscar in this scene. Brilliant scientist drives a Woody. That's not a sin. I just wanted to say the word Woody. So, for 5 years, Will's been taking Caesar to the Redwoods, and this is the first time there's been an incident? Or anyone who has ever noticed a freaking chimp being taken into the Redwoods?
Caesar, this is where I work.
No one here will see you, a monkey, in this car in the parking lot, because scientists are unobservant. Haha, original Planet of the Apes reference. Mustang owners are always leaving their car doors open with the keys in the ignition. It's a very common problem. This honking driver is oblivious to the absolutely amazing, terrifying scene directly in front of him. It's animal control, not a f***ing ambulance, right? Animal control transports dangerous monkey in van with no restraints whatsoever. Is it bad that I knew the evil animal shelter guy was going to be Brian Cox before I even knew he was in this movie? Thank goodness San Francisco has a close-by monkey sanctuary handy. Otherwise this movie would have been a lot of driving. Monkey Truman Show. You know, I don't see a ring on that finger. 5 years dating Frida Pinto and you haven't married her? Hell, it'd be a sin if it was 5 months. Hey Tom, you know that character Malfoy you play in the Harry Potter series? Just do that. That's racist.
Now you hardly ever show.
So, is there a reason why the business-minded Jacobs has kept him on the payroll, especially after the disaster in the beginning of the film? Hell, they nearly fired him on the spot then.
The 112 is dangerous, Will, and it doesn't work.
Also, did he not ever tell his boss about how the evil drug chimp was actually just protecting its baby? Did he not ever start work on 113 or any other new drug? I'm trying to figure out how he's not fired after the 112 was scrapped and he was told to start over but never did, and that was years ago.
I treated my father with it. It does work.
Brilliant scientist isn't fired immediately when his boss finds out he stole a 3-year-old drug and gave it to his father.
I'll give you whatever you need.
Medical boss just believes his scientist when he says his dad was cured with stolen drugs and orders new testing, without actually verifying that the drug actually works by looking at any data, because big money decisions are always made that way.
Aerosol delivery in place.
They used to give the monkeys the 112 by injecting them, but with the 113 they have this fancy Green Goblin aerosol delivery chamber system, which is only so they can infect the snarky lab assistant guy and have a cool everything goes wrong moment. That is a fucking sweatshirt. He just ripped off Caesar's body clean, like he was doing the tablecloth trick. Not possible. What that ape said is racist. Draco Ex Machina. Guy who sneezes blood, tells no one, and doesn't go to the doctor so that he can die later in the story. Wait, they went and grabbed his ripped sweatshirt from the main ape yard and returned it to his cell? Why? Hey girls, let's go pound some beers at the animal shelter. Doesn't that sound like a place where everyone has fun and gets laid?
Name's Cornelia.
Haha, original Planet of the Apes reference. I'm rooting for Caesar, but there's pretty much no way he could have taken this knife. Also, how did he figure out what looked like a regular bottle opener also served as a pocket knife? Oh, now you're gonna seek help about your medical problem. Jeez, is this asshole always around?
Who the hell are you?
Also, convenient asshole comeuppance cliche. Will gives up way too quickly after being rejected by Caesar. I mean, we know Caesar has moved on, but Will doesn't. Caesar wins over all the apes with a bag of Chips Ahoy. We interrupt this Planet of the Apes reboot to bring you the beginning of 2001. How did this asshole get in the house without breaking something? Or are they still leaving windows and doors open in this house? Thank God Will kept all that 113 aerosol in his fridge after his dad died. Jumping on a Mustang makes the grill fall off because Ford. How did Caesar get back into the animal shelter without being seen? Remember, he had to go out through the glass dome thing and he slid down to the ground. That's way too high and slick to climb back up, even for him. Sure, I guess he could have walked through the front door. It's not like the Landons are incredible at their job or anything. How the f*** did Caesar know that this would work? Shit, a human being in his position looking at strange cans in the fridge wouldn't know for sure that jamming a knife in the cans would create a slow enough release that rolling the canisters down the hall would infect all the apes. Dude sees apes totally conspiring, but so the movie can continue, shrugs it off. I guess after Franklin couldn't get in contact with Will that one time, he totally gave up forever and never used a phone or email or anything explaining his condition. Haha, Charlton Heston.
Take your stinking paw off me, you damn dirty ape!
Or filthy mudblood, am I right? No! Okay, that shit is f***ing awesome. I'm taking a sin off for that right there. Also, Caesar's gonna count to 5, and then he's gonna start beating the shit out of you over a f***ing billfold. Caesar does what Harry Potter took 8 movies to not do. Apes escape detention facility and procreate to triple their numbers in roughly 2 hours. Apes moving through the trees remove roughly 90% of all the leaves.
You know where he's headed.
I know where he's headed, cliche. This place has f***ing infrared security cameras. Are you kidding me? Also, Scotch tape dispenser fits in perfectly with high-tech security workstation. Sunglasses indoors. Are you seriously trying to tell me that Caesar stopped on his way to Genesis to draw graffiti? Wait, he was just walking from the underground employee parking lot, and now he's in the lobby like he just walked in the front door. Cool shot, but what was the plan? Hey guys, after we destroy the building, let's form a multi-tiered stare-down offensive. What if Jacobs had gone on vacation? What if Jacobs had gotten a phone call not to come in? How long were they willing to wait? Also, what was the point of that? Hey Jacobs, you're an asshole. Okay everybody, now let's get the f*** out of here. And not one of these apes chased after Jacobs or ran out the same exit he did. So we see the animal control vehicle in the background here, but in the next shot, the officer's already shooting a net at this lone ape in the middle of the street. And all the freed apes in San Francisco decided to hang back and save this one ape. Look, I know they're smart and all, but they're just wildly running through the streets. How do they even begin to know there's one lost chimp about to get captured by animal control? Also, it doesn't seem like killing is exactly their style. They didn't kill Jacobs, even though they had a huge chance to do so, but here they keep throwing spears at this dude, hoping he dies a grisly death, I suppose. Manhole cover only goes halfway through wimpy car windshield when really both these cops ought to be dead. Traffic on the Golden Gate Bridge is conveniently stopped already so that there can be hundreds of people in harm's way when the apes come through.
They're on the bridge.
How the hell can you know that from here?
No problem, we're ready for them.
If you knew they were going to the bridge, why didn't you chase them down while they were kicking it on a trolley? Why didn't you have a roadblock set up on the south side before they even got there? How the hell did these assholes get on the bridge? No! This attempted murder is somehow different from all the other potential murders they could have committed during the escape. Why didn't all the simians take this route? It's the safest spot on the whole bridge. Caesar's pretty damn smart, but I think he missed a golden opportunity to use this bridge the right way. Fog rolls in at just the right time to make it hard for the cops to see the apes. Okay, great. So they fooled the cops and totally got the drop on this roadblock, but there's absolutely no reason why they need to engage them in any way. They could have sneaked past them in the fog and not even risked getting shot. In fact, since they have a rule about not killing anymore, this attack seems pointless. Oh, okay, I guess this murder is fine then. Is this f***er King Kong or something? Bad guy somehow survives fiery helicopter crash because it's not cathartic enough for him to die unless the angry drug 113 test tape is the one doing it. My mother always said, if you can't say something nice while dying, you shouldn't say anything while dying at all. A bunch of smart apes that just destroyed San Francisco are now taking residence in the Redwoods. I'm pretty sure that's the cue for the US government to start bombing Redwood National Park. Take that, nature. Maybe they should have called this Rise of the 12 Monkeys. "47 seconds of logos."
Accidentally exposed to retrovirus ALZ-113.
Backstory exposition by newscast montage.
The now famous incident on the Golden Gate Bridge.
You mean Godzilla? Or X-Men United? Which famous incident are you talking about?
A 6-hour standoff with police.
Okay, come on. I know that movies reduce time, but there is absolutely no way that the standoff in Rise happened for 6 hours.
The CDC is projecting a fatality toll ranging from 5 million to as many as 150 million.
So, almost every number then. Thanks, CDC. Thunder and lightning indicate something ominous cliché. Andy Serkis isn't winning an Oscar in this scene. Good to see that the apes have learned basic expositional sign language. When has a son in a movie ordered to stay ever not wandered away, huh? Maybe the ecosystem has changed a bit, but a random bear showing up in Northern California after the last known bear was shot and killed there in 1922 seems like you're adding conflict for the hell of it. Well, there goes the entire bear population in California again. Let's face it, the only reason Caesar's kid got scarred was so we'd know which one he is. Ape school. Apparently apes have learned you need to wear surgical masks during childbirth. But they have not learned that 100 ape doctors are not needed in this situation. Also, thank God Caesar's bear fight ended in time for him to arrive home just as his son is being born. Yes, we definitely want the older son with gaping bloody wounds approaching the baby with no immune system. Definitely. Why is there one asshole walking far, far ahead of the entire group? Is it so that this guy can panic and shoot one of these apes?
They're apes, man. You think they understand what you're saying?
Do they look like just apes to you?
Yeah, kind of. I mean, their organization is a little scary, but do I think they would understand English if you spoke it to them? It's just like if you ran into a giant group of Germans in the woods. You'd expect them to know English? This guy drops his bag for no damn reason other than the plot. It's not like that thing was sloppily slung on his shoulder and fell off. The guy was holding it. Yeah, no need for you, Kong. Until the Empire State Building finale.
He could have killed us, he didn't.
Maybe he kept us alive so they could follow us.
Double team pronoun game. Movie saves money by using real shots of San Francisco streets in place of post-apocalyptic ones. Are we supposed to believe these assholes swung their way across the Redwoods and the Golden Gate Bridge faster than their car? And weren't seen? Okay, they're going into the city. Some are even riding horseback. This must have been quite the scene at the checkpoint near the Golden Gate Bridge. But hey, f*** those guys, am I right? Also, why are some of these assholes running across rooftops? You basically have to enter the city and say, you know what, I think I'll travel by rooftop. It's more jumpy that way.
That's a hell of a lot more than 80!
Guy with no context for why the number 80 was chosen earlier decides to chastise the other guy for not estimating the hidden amount of apes from a previous scene better. By the way, have I mentioned that Carrie Russell is not my girlfriend in this scene?
Do not come back.
Can we talk about the dam for a second before you leave? Damn it. I just created extra conflict for this movie.
To find out who else is out there!
I realize you don't have power, but you could have sent a party to any number of cities a long-ass time ago. You don't think there are other pockets of immune people just like you all over the place?
We're 2 weeks away from running out of fuel.
You waited that long before exploring the dam and any other power options? Are you f***ing kidding?
And what if it backfires? What if he gets violent? I mean, how do you know that he'll even understand you?
Did you not hear Caesar shouting English a minute ago? I mean, being in denial earlier sort of made sense, but now you've witnessed it with your own eyes.
Son, it's not safe.
I'm safer with you than I am down here.
This guy is trying to prevent war so that he can protect his girlfriend and son, but decides bringing them along on the possibly insane go talk to Caesar plan is somehow a decent idea.
I know. Don't come back. I know.
I've had 2 chances to talk to you about this damn dam, but coming back here risking my life sounded like the better option.
If I could just show you, then you'll understand.
Why not just say we're all going to die without power and that dam nearby can provide the power? Why the unnecessary mystery in an already tense situation?
Didn't you have a little girl? Carver, that's enough. How'd she die? That's enough! Or your wife, for that matter. Carver, you better shut up before I kick your ass. I'm the asshole.
These people let him walk away without telling him that, yes, he's the asshole. They are keeping watch over the humans they don't trust and are bringing f***ing newborn babies along?
What do we do?
Question is, why don't you get Gary Oldman in on this decision, since he just happens to be here right now?
Should we shoot him?
Yeah, I don't know. You are one ugly son of a bitch, aren't you?
Despite evidence that these apes speak English, these assholes still say this stuff.
Brace yourselves.
Why don't you let them get out of here before you blow this thing up? Hell, you don't even give it any thought. You're just like, well, No more wire, better blow this thing up right now without thinking. Did they not tell the apes explosions were involved? Unsupervised children. Of course there's a gun in this thing. So many reasons not to let this child run over here in the first place. So many ways of stopping him, but everyone goes momentarily stupid so that this can happen.
Human, leave now!
Wow, this is exactly what was said to me after my first sexual encounter. Wow, so he's also going to return home at the exact moment his wife is dying? Man, Caesar has some convenient-ass timing. Also, sudden Caesar's wife is sick subplot is sudden, but thank God, right? How else would the humans curry favor if they didn't bring medicine with them?
Malcolm, where are you going?
There's no time to explain. Apes just take Malcolm up to Caesar's palace, no problem. Thankfully, I brought my postpartum monkey get better medicine with me in my bag on the big restart the dam mission. Isn't it sort of dumb to talk about such things in the communal ape gathering place while using sign language? This is a terrible shooting gallery. There's only one target, and it's so damn big and close I'm wondering what the point is in wasting all this ammo. Contributing to the delinquency of an ape. Okay, if these assholes weren't idiots, and weren't completely drunk, and had even 20% of the normal reaction these afraid of apes San Francisco humans have demonstrated so far, none of the rest of the movie can happen. Okay, Koba, you've gone too far. Your anger at humans is justified, and your complicated character full-on gray-colored up until now. The point you light your own civilization shit on fire just to further your agenda. Shame on you, Koba. I've half a mind not to give you any monkey treats tonight. Well, it's a good thing Caesar was standing in the perfect place where Koba could shoot him without anybody seeing it. Came to Ape Town with a plan, and man, did it work out beautifully without any time wasted. And despite a clear gunshot noise, Caesar's son and wife do not immediately jump to the edge to see who did it. Instead, they hug. Which is also that by the time the son actually looks, Koba has escaped. Somehow. Even though we saw earlier that Caesar's home was apparently high up above most of the rest of the common ape area. But whatever. Is the tank shot coming soon? Despite widespread distrust in the humans and Blue Eyes yelling human gun, none of the apes looks up to where Malcolm is and does anything to prevent their escape.
Humans! Kill Caesar!
Everyone just accepts that Caesar is dead without looking for a body. I believe they'd still believe the lie anyway, but not even Koba checks to make sure he's dead before rallying the troops to fight the human city. Furthermore, Koba makes his announcement without setting up guards to prevent Malcolm and his crew from running away in the first place. And now that I've looked at this shot again, where the f*** was Koba even supposed to have been standing when he made that shot, let alone the easy escape? Ah, the under-the-log hiding place is there every time you need it. How many places like this do you think exist in nature? Enough to be convenient? Wait, how long has power been restored? His iPad is just now figuring this out? Thank God they got the electricity working so the perimeter dudes could radio you about the incoming ape attack. Am I right? That was convenient.
There! California Street!
Okay, look, nearly all these apes have never shot a gun before, but they're one-handing some serious machinery without any kickback whatsoever, like they're all natural-born Rambos. Koba and Caesar's kid get shot off their horses, but apparently bullets are to apes what negative press is to a Kardashian. Koba does his best Dances with Wolves impression, and similarly does not get shot. Thankfully, this wary human civilization keeps all their barrels of fuel outside the city walls. Otherwise, this battle scene would be missing one awesome explosion. You wouldn't think an ape on a horse could charge a tank without dying, but you'd be wrong. I gotta admit, this f***ing shot right here is beautiful. Gotta remove a sin for it. We're not made of stone. Although, now that I think about it, who's driving the spinning tank to this perfect location right now? Eventually, the fire raging over wood and leaves, put itself out, apparently. Score! How in the f*** is Caesar all the way down here? Did he get shot and then drag himself all the way to this spot? And it's a major convenience he shows up right in front of them as they're about to find the car. Has anyone out here ever lifted one of these things? What this dude is doing is f***ing impossible, unless he's Lou Ferrigno. And he doesn't look like Lou Ferrigno, so I'm calling some major bullshit right here. All of these apes, most who still believe in Caesar's teachings, allow Koba to do this. This rule was on their f***ing wall for apes' sake. Apes go from kill all humans to shepherd them like prisoners of war with no explanation, but it sure helps keep the body count down. Heavy-handed shot of Koba standing on the tattered American flag is heavy-handed. Man, that James Franco finds his way into every movie, doesn't he? Even ones where he's presumed dead.
We need to operate. I don't have anything.
Geez, why did we blindly go wherever Caesar wanted to go without the tools needed to fix Caesar and stop the war?
Humans! You ape prisoner now!
Like Bane in The Dark Knight Rises, these apes are still taking prisoners they simply do not need. Anarchy apes just happen to be doing stupid shit in the exact place where Malcolm needs to get surgical tools. Extraordinary set of circumstances allow this guy to stay unseen by apes. Camera movement is reliable in telling you that there's probably a bad guy just around the corner that he's not seeing cliché. Fortunately for Malcolm and the plot, the ape that spots him hiding is Caesar's conflicted son, so all is good for the intended plot. Carry on. Look, I get it. He thinks humans did this, but does it not occur to him that these particular humans definitely didn't hurt him? And they wouldn't have taken him all the way here to give him medical attention? I guess these apes evolved crying in 10 years. Did becoming intelligent mean their physiology changed?
How is he?
We'll see.
First, I should probably wash this blood off my hands. But since I'm already here, what the hell? Let's talk about things. This camera works after 10 years of not being used? The camera just happens to have a recording of Caesar's first days of youth and innocence queued up and ready for dramatic effect. Also, it has 42 minutes of battery life after 10 years of not being used. Get the f*** out of here. Even if it was being charged when the power came back on, shouldn't it be fully charged if that's the case?
It's been 2 days. Your son's not back yet?
No, but he'll be here in a minute on cue just because you're talking about it.
Who's there? If you're human, you better say so!
That's why I blindly fired my gun instead of yelling this warning in the first place. Malcolm is fortunate that he runs through the subway tunnel that leads directly to Dreyfus, who just so happens to be planning to blow up the very tower Caesar is climbing right now. The apes that took over the tower never bothered to investigate the lower levels of said tower, or even look down.
We need to give him a chance. We need to give him some time. He's up there right now.
Holding 3-minute gunpoint is the perfect time to play the pronoun game 3 times. 3 times for 3 guys, I guess. Caesar's walking out there with no gun and staring down a dude with a gun. Let's just all take a moment to appreciate the ballsy badassness that is Caesar, can we?
Caesar, weak. Cobra, weaker.
Ape measuring contest. Even the apes succumb to the siren song of settling things with fisticuffs.
Trusted Cobra, like brother. Caesar, brother. To human!
It's a good thing they've gotten better at speaking since the beginning of the movie. Can you imagine if they had to sign language each other through this fight?
I'm saving the human race.
No! Funny how the good human bad human face-off occurs exactly when the good ape bad ape face-off is occurring. Just kooky.
Now we make contact to military base up north. I mean, they're already on their way.
So that's why we strap C4 to this building to blow up all the apes, because the military's coming to kill all the apes. Wait, that is some shitty C4 work there, since the tower didn't remotely come down. He survives this. They both survived this. Ah, the extended piece of girder that sticks out of every f***ing building somehow. Always there to keep the drama going. If we were 10 minutes away from the end, Koba would have grabbed this cable and hung on for dear life, or landed on this walkway and somehow not hurt himself. Or the walkway would have... Movie ends with the same thing it began with, cliche. Also, what happened to Kerry Russell and Malcolm's kid? They just kind of disappeared. I guess they're hanging out at James Franco's old place watching Caesar movies or something. You stuck around for the closing credits, and all you got was a bunch of ape gibberish. Ha-ha. "50 seconds of logos."
All great movies start with blurry. Blurry something. Now get ready for some reading.
Also, not sure whether to send the film thinking the audience needed a previously on these rebooted Apes movies summary, or the too obvious capitalization and font changes on the words rise and dawn. Monkey killer. I mean, the rest of these helmets at least try to say something clever, but this one just says monkey killer? At least go for a little alliteration, like monkey mangler or something. Sure, the movie has a 93% Rotten Tomatoes rating, but I'm betting it has a 6% on the People Who Get the Bedtime Probonzo reference rating. Trader apes, or more commonly known as trapes. Maybe it's the 4K transfer talking, but holy ape, this opening confrontation is great. Problem is, it's the only actual ape versus human war battle in this entire war movie. I get having someone yell reload as a military trope, but the guy with the crossbow, who has already reloaded this weapon himself several times, is asking for more arrows? I don't get this at all. And yeah, Trape shows up with more arrows, but I mean, Jesus. Have you seen all the explosions? Why is this dude on the front line still firing crossbow arrows? First one was for silence and sneak attack reasons, but now he's just needlessly wasting time on inefficient weaponry.
We lost another man and the captain is dead, sir!
Okay, calm down. You're in command now.
The colonel just gives a field command to the first guy who radios him about the captain being dead. I mean, Jesus. Way too many seconds of apes getting out of Caesar's way. He's the leader. We get it. We got it last movie, actually.
I did not start this war. The ape who did is dead.
Koba? Even after you killed him last movie, the humans somehow still decided to believe lore over Jason Clarke's character and went to war with the apes? Really? I guess I'm okay with these movies ending in ape-human war, but blaming it all on Koba seems obtuse. You could make just as good a case that it's Caesar's fault, but then I'd have to spend 2 weeks researching and writing and pulling clips from various sources to make an explainer video that most of you wouldn't even watch.
You letting us go?
You're waiting this long to ask this? They brought you out here, put you 2x2 on horses, and all that's left is to slap those horses' asses, and you're just now asking this? Why did they send Winter alone with the enemy? I'm looking around, and I'm not seeing a shortage of monkey power here.
Why didn't I see that he could not forgive what humans did to him?
Probably the same kind of blinders the Academy uses to continue refusing you an acting nomination for this mocap brilliance. Shout out to the original movie via ape name is Shoutout. Ape Prince dude drops dirt like it's unheard of. Here's where we can live, because there's dirt. And they're in the middle of a goddamn mountain forest full of fucking dirt. Yeah, they might have to move because the humans know roughly where they live. But he went way far away, grabbed some dirt, and thought it would somehow mean something. When did Caesar's intelligence revert? I mean, he's the smartest, most tactical, and skilled character in all three movies. And he goes full horror trope dum-dum, taking his sweet time inspecting something he should know is danger, when quick action could have saved his family. Even after catching a rope in the waterfall, Caesar's still taking his time, ambling back toward his bedroom instead of just screaming bloody murder at the top of his lungs. Also, I am Caesar, leader of the apes and distrustful of humans, yet I live in a huge-ass cave with an easily accessible fourth wall, and I keep no weapons of any kind near my bed, so I have to hunt for them when danger arrives. Between the flashlights and the green lasers, I guess the human soldiers were instructed to announce their presence seconds or minutes before their actual arrival. No one will be seated during the Snowpiercer portion of the movie. Well, no more monkeys jumping on that bed, I guess. After all that, the Colonel fires like a stormtrooper at Caesar because there's still 2 hours of movie to go, of course, and that's basically the only reason he misses here. Dude, unless Caesar has gone full X-ape and developed telepathy, I'm pretty sure he'd have to be looking at you to understand the words that are coming out of your hands. Hey, let's all assemble on the beach in the most vulnerable manner possible. Poor little Cornelius just lost his mother and brother and is now being given by his father to a stranger. If ever the Ape Society needed to introduce concepts like psychology and therapy, it's now. Maurice somehow sits atop this horse without utterly breaking it. Ah, the old you thought you were going to leave on a quest without your bros joining you, only to have said bros ride up on you unexpectedly for a group hug moment cliche. I suppose I could give the movie credit for not having them stop by the Coke truck and actually pop some tabs, but come on, this Coke truck being out in the middle of the forest is about as blatant product placement as you can get in this movie. God damn, the mocap work by the actor, Karen Conoval, the CGI by the visual effects artists, the writing of this scene, it all results in one of the most tender moments in any movie this year, and I'm taking a sin off for lovable old Maurice.
We cannot take her, Maurice.
And yet you do. The movie has time for this, even though it's just the ape variation of the saying you won't do something only to turn around and do it right away cliche.
No.
What? Did that monkey just sign to Caesar as he's using binoculars? Is he reading the subtitles with those things?
Where's the Colonel?
Wait, these three just slipped in here without being seen? That was a pretty busy and active camp. And did they leave the little girl tied to a tree or something?
My son. My wife are dead.
Andy frickin' Circus. So wait, were they not sitting around the fire? Was part of this dream and part real? Was it all a dream? Whatever happened to wavy lines and wind chimes so I know when the hell someone is dreaming? Look, this shot is actually gorgeous, but these apes are following way too closely. A military convoy is going to spot them following so closely, even if only by accident. I feel bad for her. This little girl must think life is f***ed up. She's had to see at least 4 dead human bodies in the last 24 hours. She can't talk. Apes have kidnapped her and taken her into a snowy hellscape. Does she think this is normal? Like, everyone goes through this? Like, everyone sees Nixon before they die? She's mute, but not deaf, right? Okay, I was going to let it slide when giant Luca and his likely 400 pounds didn't seem to bother this horse at all. But now you throw on another 200 pounds up there? There is no way that horse is galloping that easily. That horse is being abused. This is all leading to an eventual Planet of the Stallions trilogy, isn't it? How is Bad Ape this much better a rider than these apes that have been riding for a decade or more, mostly for military purposes? So Bad Ape is slick enough to sneak up without being heard, a good enough rider to outpace Caesar and his most trusted friend soldiers, but dumb enough to just leave stupid-ass footprints leading to his own whereabouts? The movie paints this character with whatever brush it needs in the moment.
I'm okay.
I was just sitting here hoping they would add some primate pratfalls about an hour into this intense war drama that very quickly forgot how to war. Come on, movie. I mean, I get mood and such, but there's enough ape traveling montages in this movie that it might as well have been called horseback riding for the Planet of the Apes. Hey, how many ape crucifixion scarecrows do you think we need to make our point? Like 5?
I hope you don't come to regret sparing his life. He's quite a good shot.
Obvious foreshadowing is obvious. They know not what they do. Also, Caesar left the group to try and find the main human colonel and end the war early. They're acting like he was in cahoots and knew they'd get captured. How much could said colonel have tortured them to make them forget all the years of leadership and protection Caesar has provided and just blackball him? Okay, I forgave the opening speech about the opposing generals that literally had him saying Custer and Sitting Bull, but now that we're going with the shaves his head with a knife trope, I have to sin this cliche villain. Who's making these decisions? The director or Harrelson? I swear for the next 30 minutes of the movie, they just decided to do a shot-for-shot remake of animated film The Prince of Egypt. That's the sound of the apes working on the chain gang. Dum, 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 dum. As Caesar's in-prison defiance inspires these huge rock-carrying apes to throw down and defy the man, I'm just now realizing this movie's biggest problem. It's basically The Last Castle, with apes, in the snow. If you've seen The Last Castle, that's a mic drop. If you haven't, well, Chris is an extra in it because they shot it here in Nashville, so I'd still encourage you to watch it, but still, it's a not-too-original Prison Revolt movie that this Ape movie is starting to massively resemble. Also, tacking on to the previous sin a bit, Rise worked because there'd never been anything quite like it, a real-world-based sci-fi film about genetically enhanced apes gone wrong. Dawn worked because there'd never been anything like it, a real-world-based sci-fi film about two species' friction as their planetary dominance shifts from one to the other. War works, I guess, but it's like a lot of things. It's part Great Escape, part Cool Hand Luke, part 10 Commandments, part Hogan's Heroes, part Apocalypse Now, part Dirty Dozen. It's just not nearly as original as its two predecessors, by virtue of all the movies it steals from. Torture Scene, guest directed by Mel Gibson. No, Lake did not say this, and she certainly can't sign it with that boulder in her arms. Dang it, movie. Subtitles are not magic. After like 24 hours or more, the rest of Caesar's private spy party finally goes looking for him. What kind of wall are they f***ing building? They're lugging huge rocks up ramps made of wood, and I mean, Jesus. The army that attacks this joint later has helicopters and missiles and bombs and shit, so all this quarry work for the apes seems like window dressing. In case the Jesus parallels weren't strong enough for you to get it, WWCD, y'all. Movie wants to be all previous war movies in one, so here's your requisite Vietnam-era soundtrack entry.
I need that wall.
You need a wall built of rocks and logs and no apparent bonding agent. I mean, dude, you've got easily explodable gas tanks behind that wall. You need a lot of things, but you do not need that flimsy-ass wall.
You're much stronger than we are.
Chef Exposition here takes a full 4 minutes to tell us about this virus's unfortunate mutation and its personal consequences. Sure, there's a bit of character work there, but anytime someone has time to fully cook and eat a meal while expositing, I'm guessing you could tighten that up.
No matter what you say, you'd eventually replace us. That's the law of nature.
Then why is this movie 2 hours and 20 minutes long?
I realized that I would have to sacrifice my only son so that humanity could be saved.
Woody 316.
It will be a planet of apes.
Roll bananas.
No, go in. No, go.
Bad Ape accidentallys himself into a secret underground entrance to the camp. So the colonel agreed to Caesar's demand and decided to feed the apes. Fine, but he's feeding them raw grain, wheat germ, flaxseed. The hell does he think apes eat? And worse than that, he's just got a warehouse full of this grain lying around doing nobody any good. Where'd he get all that? Is this cornmeal like a commodity in this apocalyptic future?
If he's still alive in the morning, he goes to work like everyone else.
So you don't care if he lives or dies? You keep going back and forth on this shit. It's starting to piss me off. Are you breaking down their leader so they break down? Or are you just f***ing with their leader and not giving a shit what they do in response? Wouldn't this scene work better if it were Maurice instead of Caesar? Maurice is the one that gave her the doll earlier, and it would make nice symmetry. As the movie presents it, it's like, hey, Caesar, remember that doll Maurice gave me back when you weren't even in the room to witness it? Well, it happened. And this reciprocation is cause enough to motivate you and shit, I think. So how exactly did Supernova get in here and do all this without being seen? Don't most military groups have some sort of scouts or security? It's not like she's even hiding. Also, he's their leader, for chimp's sake. There's no guard on the most important primate in the camp. Whoa, where did these guys come from? We saw the guards coming in from behind the trucks, but where have these guys been the whole time? And how did they not see anything before now? Is it just me, or is Woody all of a sudden rainproof? I don't see a single drop hitting his glasses, his jacket, or his beautiful head. Is there an umbrella I'm missing? Is he a rain god? Does he bathe in rain X? Sorry, getting on the cheese. Movie again adds character with the same name from the original Apes movie in a desperate attempt to both curry nostalgic favor and confuse the hell out of anyone trying to figure out how they could actually be the same person.
Come see. Come see.
Bad Ape is the physical embodiment of the you better come take a look at this cliche.
No. Okay.
This movie is not without its charm, and even my cold heart is willing to remove a sin for that exchange. He doesn't notice this. Sheesh, how many years of acting classes did this water take to get this good at dramatic timing? So let's go over this primate plan, shall we? First, fling poo with accuracy and timing enough to hit a guard 60 feet up at the exact right moment. Second, hope that the guard takes it personally enough that rather than clean it off, he comes down and opens the freaking pen to confront his attacker. Third, throw more poop, in the hopes that instead of running after the culprit, he will stand still above a pre-designated hole long enough with both legs situated apart perfectly to be pulled underground. And fourth, hope that no one hears him yell before you knock him out with your meaty monkey paws. What could go wrong? Also, how'd they even time this shit? Maybe they knew he was there through vibrations and sound, but that's a huge leap. Awesome ape moment, ruined by logic, which could serve as a tagline for this movie, actually. Again, keys or not, there's no way Caesar would have been left unguarded in a way that no one saw him unlock his own pen. This Magoo militia is about as observant as a sideline concussion spotter in an NFL game. Somewhere along the line, this movie turned into a serious version of Chicken Run, which itself was a play on Stalag 17. My point is that other than the ape angle, this is nothing new. Hell, Maggie organized a daycare breakout just like this on The Simpsons like 20 years ago. 1 hour and 52 minutes later, and this movie with the word war in the title finally decides to war again. And of course, it takes place primarily in the background. As if awakening from a dream, one lone soldier realizes how those round things embedded in his face are meant to be used, and somehow focuses them enough to notice that where before there were hundreds of captives, now there are not. Well done, lone human. Well done indeed. Such a sad, tragic end to this man's love affair with his Bo Peep doll. Oh, sorry, wrong Woody. Wait, how are there any apes left still crossing the battlefield? Certainly there was plenty of time while Caesar was away on his suicide mission to find hiding spots or clear the area. As if convenient gas leak isn't convenient enough. How is it that amidst bullets, grenades, rocket launchers, and crashing copters, this thing hasn't ignited already? Oh, I guess after being the only soldier here to notice the apes were missing back when this battle started, this asshole just hid inside the camp, waiting for his chance to kill the ape leader he somehow knew would be sneaking around here at some point. What in that chain reaction? If this base was this ready to go, there's no way that battle lasted past the first missile. I would call out this sudden avalanche as a typical Ex Machina moment, except for one thing. It serves no purpose. Why do all the humans have to die? Caesar wasn't really in danger until he stood up to see it, and we all know the human race is headed towards their demise anyway, so Deus ex ineptia? Just like Moses, Caesar was prohibited from entering the Promised Land, mostly because of his selfish behavior during the journey. Thankfully, he'd already given the apes a few of their own 10 commandments to live by, such as ape not kill ape, apes together strong, and thou shalt not stay behind during rescue from a human military compound for personal revenge reasons, lest you receive a mortal flesh wound. Are we supposed to believe this is from the arrow wound before the avalanche? How long has this traveling circus and his circus monkeys been looking for a place to live? I'm not saying he couldn't die from the injuries, I'm just saying it probably should have happened sooner.
Son will know.
If Maurice knows this many spoken words, why isn't he talking more? I mean, I don't expect him to be a chatterbox or anything, but there are plenty of times when a few words could have gone a long way. Sorry to spoil the moment here, but apes don't cry, not even when they're gunning for an Academy Award.
Disney. Reading. Also, hubris leading to our downfall? I doubt that. Also, Beneath the Planet of the Alsos, reducing 3 movies into 6 sentences. Why did I spend all those hours watching amazing movies when I could have just enjoyed this perfectly adequate summary? You see, franchises nowadays are cameoing so hard that this movie felt it had no choice but to start with a full minute and a half of Caesar's funeral, just to quash any expectations of him popping up. I mean, I can't think of why else we'd be watching this deleted scene from War. Oh, I do hope this naming convention takes off and spawns several more movies and eventually crossovers that culminate in the almost inconceivable magnum opus that is the beginning of the fall of the House of the Dragon, of the Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, the Lord of the Rings, of the... Thanks! Real fucking helpful. Next time, save yourself some repetitive strain injury and just say later. Opening with footage that belongs in a nature documentary is a textbook early warning sign that this movie does not need to be almost 2.5 hours long. The director told Anaya to eat an apple as smugly as possible, so we'd be certain assholery was a cross-species character trait.
Silk.
Anaya doesn't get any of Noah's special silk, so that we can be in no doubt that Suna is the fuckable chimp in this trio. Noah has apparently stabbed enough rusty metal pipes into concrete to know that this would work. Yes, I find that less believable than a world full of talking apes. Movie plays up the difficulty Noah is having with the last 3 feet between him and the egg as if it forgot about the insane jump we just witnessed. Be relieved that Noah and the egg are alive, sure, but the altitude and the integrity of the structure Apex Honnold is about to have to free solo tells me that he is still very much in danger, and that maybe your overdramatic fainting and cute smiles for the camera aren't as situationally appropriate as you think they are.
Something in trees.
By the end of the movie, it's going to feel uncharacteristically stupid that May is making all this noise in the bushes right now. Eagle Clan is enslaving birds and training them to bring back fish. Don't you think for a second that I don't see you planting seeds for Dawn of the Planet of the Accipitroformes?
Your father. I want to see.
Noah's hesitance here tells us that he has daddy issues, and oh boy, am I glad that's a trait the apes have picked up. This bird is a dick.
You climb well.
Above top nest.
I will continue to call out the climb well lies as they happen. You did not climb above the top nest. You barely scrambled to be level with the top nest and fell on your ass as a result. Also, if this top nest is so important that everyone knows about it and the subtitles deemed it worthy of capital letters, then why were the 3 ape Migos so bummed out when the first nest only had 3 eggs? Why wasn't the plan always to hit multiple nests?
You did not go to the valley beyond.
That is forbidden.
Yet, flood of echo on your blanket.
Despite knowing how bad it looks, Noah just presented this blanket to his judgmental father with no preemptive explanation. This is probably why your dad doesn't like you, Noah.
Echoes only bring trouble.
That's reverberationist.
You climbed top nest.
This ape is painted blue so that we'll remember to be sad when he turns up dead 6 minutes and 40 seconds from now. Here's a sin for May, pushing Noah exactly in the egg pouch, and here's a bonus sin for Noah not keeping that egg somewhere safer. And if part of the bonding ritual is to keep the egg with you at all times, then he should sit his ass at home for the evening and wait until sunrise. Don't start doing unimportant odd jobs around the camp.
I must find another.
I mean, it's not really about finding another egg, is it? You know exactly where 3 more eggs are. It's just about getting there, Mr. Top Nest Von Climeswell. You assholes are gonna let him go alone? You assholes! Oda's massive internal bleeding kindly holds off just long enough to let him impart his dying words to Noah.
The ape's horse!
They cannot before.
Wait, doesn't the presence of a horse mean the opposite? If he came on foot, then I'd understand, assuming his camp was near, but this horse means he could have been riding for days, right? Noah wanders into this mess with no plan to fight or protect himself and ends up surviving for no reason other than he is the main character. Also, I'm kind of bummed that this movie is essentially about apes fighting apes. I know the gradual bastardization of Caesar's message is the real foundation of the movie, but I'm far more interested in seeing the apes build a kingdom than seeing them fight over one. If I want to see primates battle each other for land using spears, horses, and a version of English I don't fully understand, I'll watch Game of Thrones again.
They broke my egg.
Oh no, not your egg. I mean, I was initially perturbed about our entire fucking village burning down, but now I'm really pissed.
For Caesar!
Hey, I know that name. Just shut up and enjoy the movie. But that name is important, and I must know why he said it. Honey, shut the fuck up. This is exactly how we got kicked out of Batman v Superman.
Take them to Proximus!
Guys, I love this part. It's the bit where Proximus Primal runs out of the forest and screams, "Hey, Bobots, roll out!" And then everyone looks at each other really confused because they're apes and haven't mastered the wheel yet. Noah survives this, and, not only survives this, but gets off with just a few scratches and a limp that's quickly forgotten. Shit, I think that dickhead bird did more damage than this fall. I'd be a stupid human if I didn't recognize all the effort that goes into making these movies, and the impressive tech that allows the actors to give such expressive performances. Take your sin back, you damn dirty ape movie. There comes a time in every teen ape's life when he just has to jump on that horse and enter that hole at full speed. I'm getting the right metaphor here, yes? Post-apocalyptic city is reclaimed by nature porn cliche.
Mother.
Noah finds a convenient breadcrumb trail of emotional turmoil that happens to be an item of clothing he not only recognizes, but actually belongs to his mother. I ask you, would this have had the same impact if he'd stumbled upon Carl's jockstrap? Look at what you've done now, Noah. You've gone and pissed off the weather with all your emotional baggage. Is it really necessary for May to always be moving through the trees like an apparition? Does she want Noah's help, or does she want him to believe in ghosts? Rumor has it the movie saved $1 million by using the present-day Oakland Coliseum for this shot, since zero CG work was needed to make it look like a nature-reclaimed ruin. The ground gives way under Noah as if the foundations of everything he knows are slowly crumbling beneath him. Now, if only the frequent symbolism could give way to some plot movement. Also, that is at least 3 times in less than 40 minutes that we have seen Noah fall down from a high place and be saved by some bullshit instead of dying. I'm not saying movies have to be beholden to a quota for this sort of thing, but would it be a disaster if they were? Also, this looks like an abandoned mall or something, so this fire should be smoking the fuck out of the joint. No one should be able to see shit, and Raka should have all the lung disease.
How young you are.
What a creepy fucking way to say hello.
He was my village.
Holy shit, you're burning a dead body in there too? So now you have lung diseases and the smell of burning flesh. This fire might be the biggest sin of the franchise. And this shit sent Mark Wahlberg to the future.
I am Raka.
Discount Maurice, pronounced Discount Maurice strangely.
Perhaps here humans were cared for.
At the airport? Barely.
Echo. Human.
It's kind of crazy that Eagle Clan decided to call the surviving humans Echoes, since that's such a perfectly apt description for what they have become, even though Eagle Clan shouldn't have a clue what they once were.
Perhaps Caesar bids me travel.
Man, I wish I had a figurehead that I could just invoke whenever I want to do something. Maybe Caesar wants me to add extra bacon to my cheeseburger. I think it's Caesar's will that I play golf this weekend. I can basically justify whatever the fuck I want because Jesus says it's okay. Caesar. Caesar says it's okay. Phew. Close call.
Work continues.
This is rapidly becoming the I have spoken of the movie because Disney just can't help itself with this shit.
I have no time for it.
I'm sorry, Noah, but you not having time for this won't stop the movie from taking time for this, and there is nothing you or I can do about it. Oh, wait, I can add us in.
I will not slow you down. I, too, keep a horse.
Holy shit. Should this poor horse be riding him?
We named them all Nova. I do not know why.
The logic used to justify shoehorning a Nova into War for the Planet of the Apes somehow makes it into the movie. I've been to a few telescopes in my time, and there is approximately 0.0000001% chance that this thing is in focus. Noah shouldn't be able to see anything that is worthy of this reaction unless he's particularly impressed by a dark blue blur.
She's slow.
And yet she doesn't appear to have had an issue keeping up with you since you left camp.
You only have 2 appendages to save your life, but if you were able to use both of your hands and both of your feet, that's 4 times the safety.
No, that would be double the safety, not 4 times the safety. Listen, the smart monkeys either know basic math or they don't.
What is that?
I mean, it's a horse, right? They have different colored horses here, so why couldn't this just be a horse with stripes? It's not like they bumped into a fucking kangaroo.
Horses with stripes.
See? Why is that so weird?
Follow Caesar's word.
Damn it, why do these dramatic moments always call for the breaking of necklaces? Would it have been so hard just to take it off over your head? Now you've just burdened Noah with another thing to repair.
To remember who he was. It is important.
It's only important because we need a justification for the other movies. I'm pretty certain you can be a moral person without knowing who Jesus was. I mean, Caesar. Yikes. Another close call. Glad I'm getting away with these. I have to say I'm not all that impressed with Noah's tracking abilities. He definitely followed the bad apes' tracks to get them this far, but shouldn't he also have seen signs of them stopping around here to set up this ambush? Aragorn mapped out an entire battle, for crying out loud. Mighty Joe Young, University of Tennessee, Chattanooga. Wow, this is so much like the Caesar yells no moment in Rise that I now have to believe this is the only reason they called the chief ape protagonist Noah. Apparently 50% of the movie's budget went on hiring Tom Cruise to train this gorilla to authentically run like a gorilla. The inch-perfect placement of this log allowed this unplanned moment to reach maximum cinematography. The great thing about javelins, long swords, and other lengthy weapons is the extra range they provide. So it's an interesting choice for this ape to get as close as possible and negate his ability to prod and zap from afar.
This should give us time.
It will not. And can you guess why? It's because the bad apes already know where you're f***ing heading, genius.
Some intelligence, to be sure.
I have a name.
This reveal is kind of fun the first time around, but I'm almost certain it'll end up aging poorly. The movie holds on to this twist for a full hour, and the price is that May is a needlessly silent mystery for almost half the runtime. She's proof that there are still intelligent humans out there, and instead of digging into that and her mission, we get discount Jane of the Jungle.
I know where they're taking your clan.
I assumed you needed Noah's tracking abilities, but if you already know where the bad apes are headed, why the f*** have you been wasting time with Noah and Raka?
The mother taught me silence for my safety.
You were safe with us.
You chased her off multiple times, called her a pest, and would barely give her your mother's blanket, asshole. Movie accidentally represents how I believe electrical items work. Electrical thing works. Electrical thing stops working. Fiddling happens. Magic returns in the form of electricity. Pop-Tarts. Everything about this bridge says nope, and yet not a single nope is heeded. I don't mean to harp on about the tracking, but it's a pretty fundamental part of the first 4 hours of this movie. Noah must be following the tracks that were made when his clan was taken. But how did Silva get ahead of him? And if this is the only way to the settlement, why didn't Noah spot the fresher tracks and realize this was an ambush? The movie also needs Noah to be an excellent tracker so he can catch up with Silva and the gang, but also needs him to be a shitty tracker so that Silva and crew can keep getting ahead of him unnoticed. Raka clearly isn't reaching for May. He's attempting to pull up the netting, which makes May's decision to reach out her hand instead of climbing up the netting cinematic, but futile.
Together. Strong.
Oh, fuck you, movie. What did Raka do to you? What a waste of a genuinely fun and interesting character. First of all, I don't see how this is going to motivate Noah any more than seeing his village and father burned to the ground already has. Or were you just worried Raka was going to be critiqued as a discount Maurice? Because I'm still doing that, assholes. The work continues. Apes on a boat! Apes on a boat! Take a good hard look at the ape-infected boat! How's it going, Ryan? You know, Carl, same as usual. It's a brave new world, but these rusty buckets aren't going to carry themselves.
Mother. Anaya.
The scene transition that we're about to see is a dick. Anaya and Noah's mother are still alive, but this cut totally wants us to think they're dead. The problem is, I wouldn't care if they were dead. We spent next to no time with them, and you've already killed off the one character I was invested in. No, not Ape Yoda, Caesar. The engrossing excitement of May exploring this room will not affect the story in any way whatsoever.
He's mostly interested in history. Roman history, especially.
Well, at least it isn't the fucking Nazis for a change, but the evil dude is inspired by an ancient empire cliche is still getting you a sit. With no backstory, I guess I'll just do what any sensible person would and assume Proximus came to power because apes and people alike respect a sick jump.
What a wonderful day!
I see trees of green, red roses too. I see them bloom for me and you. And I think to myself,
What a wonderful day!
Also, someone should tell Proximus that his kingdom looks more like a disheveled port.
I am Caesar!
He is not Caesar.
Why the f*** are you so sure? All you have to go on is whatever Rocca told you, and for all you know, he was totally loopy. This might carry some weight if Noah's clan also followed the teachings of Caesar, but they didn't have a f***ing clue who he was until these apes showed up screaming his name.
Yes!
No, I mean, yes.
Whoever's in there is either dead or gone. We've been banging on that door for months.
He's right, but I don't know what he's basing that on. Is Trevathan really expecting whoever is in there to come out and say, howdy y'all, want some lemonade? To whoever is trying to knock down the door to their last stand bunker?
And that's why they call it a toga party.
And that's why I'm awarding an oddly specific 27 cents. See, anyone can just start with a random punchline instead of having to make up an actual joke. Yes, all of this is a joke. Shit, did you think I was being serious with this stuff? Good, because I am! Except when I'm not. This is a lot of candles, especially since I'm not convinced that they have the knowledge or means to create more, and I don't think fire exits have been rediscovered yet.
You are familiar with the concept of evolution?
Movie teases us with a future where even apes accept that evolution is a thing when we can't even get 100% of humans in 2024 to agree the world isn't flat. Also, in the OG Apes movies, the idea of evolution was offensive and was considered heresy because it suggested that humans evolved from apes and were therefore superior in some way. Now, those apes were in the far future, but even so, it's an interesting idea that could have been explored here. However, this movie is much more interested in Proximus reinventing the Second Amendment.
I will learn from what is inside that vault.
Basically, this movie is about a human trying to deny this ape an education.
I know. You are coming here to get inside my vault.
Proximus sounds a lot like my college girlfriend responding to my "you up" texts.
Did May tell you how to get inside my vault?
She told me nothing.
This is the part of the movie where you'd expect May to be taken away and interrogated, or maybe even tortured until she spills the beans on how to get in the vault. That does not happen. Instead, she's kind of just left to roam around as she pleases, which leads to her scheming with Noah.
Humans can never be trusted. They do not understand that this is our time. I must destroy their kind.
Magneto wants mutants to rule the world and tries to convince Professor X to join him, cliché.
And Proximus has no need for egos.
He might if you'd explained it to him. He loves power, and he definitely seems like the type of ape that would love to have the power of commanding birds to peck your eyes out.
But the law is wrong.
I get this is supposed to represent a shift in Noah from earlier when he was all about following the leave one egg law. The only problem is that seemed like a good law. Now he is choosing not to follow the laws of a fascist. I'm glad we can confirm that he now knows not all laws are good ones, but he was still right in both situations. Also, does the bird speak English too, or is it just finally attuned to big moments and character arcs?
You did not come for echoes, and you were not alone.
What the f*** does that matter? They've known each other for what I'm assuming is a few days, and he's pissed at her because she didn't tell him about some bunker filled with tech that he doesn't understand? All she said was that she would take him to where his clan was being held. What the f*** does he care about her motivations for being here?
The more you speak, the less I believe.
Twitter.
I was wrong not to trust you.
You were not! You think he's trustworthy now, but you had no f***ing clue that was the case when you met him. She has every right to keep the apes at arm's length. Blind trust is only commendable if you end up being right. Otherwise, it's dumb and you end up dead.
Will water destroy what is inside?
We don't see an explicit reply in the affirmative here, but based on how the movie plays out, I think we can assume May does believe that blowing the dam will destroy everything in there, or at least damage it enough so that Proximus can't use it to evolve. But this is such a huge risk. She can't know the flood will work. She can't even be certain the thing she's looking for is still in there. Everything she knows about this place is based on information that's apparently been handed down over many generations. For all she knows, the place is filled with 1,000 copies of the entire Fast franchise, re-recorded for posterity on Betamax. And she cannot risk letting that shit loose on the world.
Hey, climb. One I cannot do alone.
He can. In fact, Noah will do just fine on his own and complete the climb while also carrying May on his back.
You cannot make hard climb without Anaya.
I love that Anaya overcomes his fear and comes to help his friend. But Noah will actually complete all the heroic shit on his own for the rest of the movie.
You like her, Suna?
I'm sure he does, but I'd sooner skip
He's just going to rebuild it.
No one in the entire kingdom other than Trevathan notices this group doing a shit job at hiding what they are doing.
Nobody is going to blame you for what happened here.
Speaking on behalf of the families of those people Proximus killed, not to mention what looks like a few dozen very pissed off subjugated apes who also have dead relatives thanks to your zappy sticks.
Come with us.
He's gonna skin your monkey alive.
Given Trevathan's familiarity with Romans called Caesar, it's kind of wild that he turns his back on May after rejecting her offer. You can't think that he can outfight 3 apes and a person on shattered ankles, right? Well, if I didn't believe they were caught just because they have been doing all the bomb making out in the open, then I certainly don't believe that no one hears any of the struggle fight happening.
Now we climb.
So what was May's plan had she not befriended Noah or another ape? Because I honestly don't see how she's making this climb with any level of confidence on her own. Was this honestly her plan all along? Find ape, befriend ape, get piggyback from ape? Ah, yes, the token falling rock, which demonstrates how dangerous the fall would be as if we have no familiarity with the effects of gravity. Taking advantage of the Death Star's thermal exhaust port cliche. Also, how did this thing get signed off? No small tunnels to squeeze through, no locked doors. You can literally trip over these giant vents and just walk your ass into a bunker that holds the remainder of the government, all the cool weapons, nukes, Led Zeppelin vinyls, Lucky Charms, and whatever the fuck else was stored down there. Hell, I wouldn't be surprised if Ocean 17 was based on heisting this place because the first movie of the post-apocalypse could only afford to be 3 fucking minutes long. Also, Dawn of the Planet of the Also, Trevathan said they'd been working on getting into the bunker for months. So why did neither he or Proximus think to check the fucking perimeter? Why wouldn't you check around this entire thing, looking for alternate entrances? You wouldn't dare play the music, but the soundtrack builds up a lot of tension around them entering this facility, just for them to not encounter anything dangerous inside. Oh look, there's a big hole. I guess we got no choice but to drop a torch down it. Callbacks. Or, I guess, call forwards, since the first movie of the original movies hasn't happened yet, or won't happen yet, or will happen but hasn't happened in this timeline. What?
The symbols have meaning.
They sure f***ing do. This symbol in particular was included so we'd know that everyone who survived was an asshole. Also, of all the possible kids' books, they picked the one about going to the zoo. And of all the possible zoo books, they picked the one with multiple pages of caged primates. It's uncanny. Imagine the course of ape history if they picked up the one about trains.
We'll have to move fast. You go to your clan, and I'll trigger the explosion.
Since Suna and Anaya have contributed very little to this raiding of the Lost Ark, I have to ask why they weren't waiting outside to notify the rest of the Eagles and trigger the explosion. How the hell did Proximus know that he needed to be standing right by the door right now with the hostages? I gather he realized something was up when his best bud Trevathan went missing, but he would have to have known about the whole plan to climb up to the vent, be waiting here like this. Movie won't admit it, but clearly there was an inside man. I'm looking at you, Anaya. Also, did opening these doors really need to be part of the plan anyway? I know they want to flood the place, but why can't they just leave the way they came and blow up or block the vents they came in instead? May seem pretty convinced that Proximus would never get through those vault doors, and that seems even less likely now that Trevathan is dead. This way, you never have to open the vault doors and risk letting them in at all, right?
Come on, we got a plan! No!
Noah, Proximus, and Silva are all in the line of fire, but somehow May weaves a bullet around all of them and Suna. This is some wanted-level shenanigans. Noah knows the plan to flood the vault, so I have to ask why he's just standing there stupefied by his impending doom instead of telling everyone to run for their lives. He decided to stop and fight the water like a f***ing ant. That was silly. No one will be seated during the wow, that's a lot of primates drowning portion of tonight's presentation.
Eagle Clan! Climb!
But f*** any of you who belong to any other clan, okay? I know most of you are also being held here against your will, but y'all can burn. I mean, drown. These two monkey around for all the maybe we should pause and pick this fight back up when we're outside where no one will drown amounts of yes I know apes aren't monkeys sometime. I'd like to give some props for this fight not ending up in the generic fisticuffs that we usually see play out. Instead of primate punch gorilla, Noah actually uses his brain to outsmart Silva. Huzzah! However, the movie is also stealing Vesper's death from Casino Royale, so... Where the f*** did you come from? Where the f*** were you hiding? How the f*** did no one see you? And most importantly, what the f***? Oh boy, I haven't seen this much double fisting since my college days when me and my buddies got drunk and would watch Spock beat up that salt monster disguised as Dr. McCoy's ex-girlfriend. What? Where did you think I was going?
You are going to stand so that you can bend for your king.
Another villain that can't finish the job without creating an opportunity to lose. Having said that, what the f*** was Eagle's son waiting for? Why was he up there like, look, I pledged my allegiance to him, but it doesn't mean I have to like the guy. Let's watch him get f***ed up a bit, and then I'll save the day like the vindictive feathered bastard I am. Sounds a lot like the theme from Halo, but I believe it's bird murder music. Holy shit, I know laughter is the best medicine, but too soon, my dude. This would have been like Laurie's brother chasing after her in a Captain Kirk mask the week after Halloween. Or, in short, kids.
I came to say goodbye.
Did she forget the part where she tried to kill everyone he loves?
Humans will never give up. Not until you claim all things.
What the f*** is he basing that on? I mean, he's right, but all he saw was a kid's book about a zoo and the fact that May left with some doodad and a gun.
That silo was a human place. With human things and human ideas. It was not meant for apes.
What is for apes?
I was about to send a rarely spotted fourth act conflict cliche, but is this even the right conflict? Noah should be pissed that May almost drowned all of his friends and family, not that she destroyed all the tanks, guns, and children's books.
If Rocco were here, he would tell us his Caesar had much to say on this.
I hope he also would tell you how much of a waste it was to kill his character off for a cheap emotional punch.
Important.
Did he forget the part where she tried to kill everyone he loves? Hey, movie, no one would judge you for ending. In fact, it's generally encouraged. Look, I don't know how satellites work, but isn't the dishy satellite-y part of the satellite thing quite important in allowing it to satellite? It's hard to be excited about this because we have no idea what their goal is. But I guess since we're here, let's find out who they're trying to call.
Yes, hello? This is Fort Wayne, Indiana.
Is this supposed to be a win? I'm not counting that as a win. You know what this means. Age of the Planet of the Apes.
In space.
You might be pregnant now. Gotta keep one jump ahead of the breadline, one swing ahead of the sword.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I'm just a caveman. I fell in some ice and later got thawed out by some of your scientists.
Oh, dear, his life. Then I've only an hour to dress. What are they wearing now?
You will spend that hour getting acquainted with George Bailey.
Good soup.
Batman, he should be biting at the bait about now.
What were the side effects?
Violence, aggression, and insanity. We need to take the whole line back to formula.
Back to formula.
You're gonna be all right. You're gonna be all right. Help me.
Said no guns.
You know, when you lie to me, I hurt you.
I know now why you cry, but it's something I can never do.
Banana.
Help your father! My nipple's ruined.
For Caesar!
Salad, extra dressing.
So, who are you?
I'm the guy who does his job. You must be the other guy.
Don't you understand? That ape cannot have what is in...
Well, heck, if you wanna play games here, I'm working with you on this thing here, but okay, I'll do a damn luck count.
Not my circus, not my monkeys.